What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here. I'm just like the investor, and we're going to be looking at Apple. We saw a pretty large amount of puts and calls being bought today. Mostly a lot of them on the put side due to the fact of some stuff that have kind of come out of Apple's wheelhouse that people really didn't like. Not saying this really is the reason that I brought it down, but it's just kind of been lagging the overall market. Of course, we have been in chop mode in the overall market and somewhat of a negative holding pattern with a little bit of a bear dance on top of that. It's kind of just been shooting the market up and down and so forth. A couple things that we wanted to look at here. Of course, we have two things. Of course, Apple, as you know, has already noticed or notified and let us know that, hey, the iPhone 12 boxes will not include the charger and headphones with the new iPhone 12. Kind of a bummer, but that's that they have ability to do that. They should, like I read in some, I forget what it was it Engadget or something, that was talking about potentially, okay, maybe just give me a gift card to use it or to buy it, just whatever, or give me a gift card to be able to purchase something else in the store. But that seems a little bit of redonkulous of like, it's my very first iPhone, I need a headset for it. Like, I don't know. That seems a little strange to me. I don't honestly like that, to be honest. And of course, then we have Apple announcing, of course, today on the 10th, they're having a new event. I don't know if this is speculation on the new ARMS processor. As you know, they're going into the own business of getting out of Intel. So their Intel processors will not be in any of their Macs, books, the desktops, or anything like that. They're going to be transforming and creating their own processing chips instead of dealing with a lot of the Intel stuff. And yeah, so we'll see how that event goes forth. So let's go ahead and just jump into what we're seeing here in the options market. A lot of puts being bought and sold here, of course, on the name of the call sides. A lot of the stuff is being a little bit short term. We have some longer dated calls that really are going out all the way to January and actually June, which were quite impressive, honestly, on seeing these kind of coming out well over 1.2 million there. On these very short dated calls are also going up for a little bit, 600. Nearly $700,000. But again, this definitely is highlighting here is, of course, the longer dated options are ones that I normally look more to, even though the short dated stuff can kind of tell sometimes a pattern, but definitely looking for some of that longer trades that we can see going forth here, especially with these two right here, or potentially they could be selling the front month and then buying the back month going forth here. So looking at going out to this put side, we can see a pretty large activity again on the 20th, not really too far away, but the February 21s here, February 19s for 2021s, about 1,500 of those. That seems like a pretty big chunky chunk for a 105 puts. Again, that's going to be a little bit of like $1.3 million worth of options activity just going on there. Again, that's nothing too far crazy out, but it's still a substantial period. Going to that 19th February 2021, you can kind of see that options activity has been going up between that 10th, the 110 to 105 amount of calls. You can see the rising open interest, and of course, just the volume coming in today, especially with that 105 that we're currently looking at, that we saw with that really large trade to buying basically 1,500 of those puts today. Are they selling it? They're buying it. It's very mixed signals. Again, if you just dive into it completely, we can, again, looking through that options chain here, you can see it's in white, so it means they paid the mid price. That doesn't mean they bought it or sold it. We don't know yet until the following day. We can see if that open interest goes up or down on this little tab here. So that being said, let's go ahead and just kind of jump over to the charts to kind of look on how Apple has been performing. Again, like we have talked about, it has been lagging somewhat of the overall market, have been kind of dragging it lower since Apple is such a huge component in the Dow and building the S&P 500 being a technology heavy stock. It has been bouncing around with the overall market, aka that chop. Of course, we saw that 4-to-1 split that really, of course, ratcheted the stocks extremely higher from that earnings announcement it just previously had, and it really just went skyrocketing and really went gangbusters and really kind of took it to an all-time high at 137. Just like Tesla, it kind of hit that basically the day of the split or a couple days after the split, and it just continue to tank down due to the fact of so many other investors taking profits. We had all the other like stuff of inflating of pricing in a lot of these very short-dated options, especially with people when stocks really right up between that 5 and 8 moving averages. That usually isn't sustainable. And then looking for somewhat of a pullback to come in here, potentially looking for some support. We had this box in around this area to potentially look for some support. It's kind of been done and donezo's. It's kind of been holding just that normal choppy pattern. It hasn't made the transition into like a bearish pattern or a downward trending pattern. We would need to see it basically break below 104, 105. Okay, again, that comes in where that put option is. Again, they could have sold that put for 105. It's going to be a little bit, I wouldn't say risky. Anything is, when you're looking at options, it is risky, but looking for that potential movement to hold the 105 or potentially it come down to the 105 in the short to near term. Again, that option was out all the way in February, so it's got a little bit of time on it. If we do get any movement to the downside, or again, we are seeing that 5 and 8 cross through the 21 EMA and continue to go downwards. Those 5 and 8 moving averages still kind of aggressively pointing downward to the ground. Again, signaling, hey, that could be, there isn't any sense of a support structure as of right now. So let's take away those Fibonacci numbers real fast, and then we're going to do a Fibonacci extensions here. So we're going to do the swing high to swing low, and then the swing high again. And we're kind of coming into that 50 percentile move. So that's going to be around 107. As we talked about, a really high number or Fibonacci number for support to the downside is going to be at 103.83 and then to around 97.97 there. Those are going to be some very key support levels. That kind of falls into the 144 EMA and also the 200 EMA, which are also very strong support signals to the downside. Not saying it's going to come crashing through it, but again, anything can happen in the market. As I am a betting man, I'm going to see on how it overall plays out. As of right now, Apple's still in consolidation and just really chop mode. That bear has not struck down and smacked Apple on the side of the head to make it go into a, not a tailspin, but more of a aggressive downward momentum projection. Looking here on the weekly side for you a little bit longer term investors, looking at this one, of course, we're coming down right to that 21 EMA here. Again, that kind of lines up with that 106 to 105 range, which again is that key level that we just talked about on that put that really kind of raised my eyebrows for some initial support. Because again, a lot of people know that we look at the 21 EMA on multiple charts as being like the overall trend setting. Again, on the weekly side, the sting looks still very strong. The moving averages, especially the 21 and 34, have not started to curl downwards. That would be something somewhat concerning on the weekly side. It's going to take a lot more selling and more bear pressure to really see these things starting to reverse and start going to a downward projection, downward movement, honestly. Again, we are seeing the 5 and 8 kind of getting some bounce around here a little bit again. That really is a true signal of the chop that we've seen with the overall market. And we can just honestly just look at that within the SPY on a daily side of just that chop we've seen here. It has not been a very well tradable market if you're going to be a more trend focused investor. If you love volatility and you love chop and love collecting that premium, it's been a great time to be selling some premium and doing into the different various strategies around that. But switching back overall to Apple, some key takeaways before I let you go. Just be mindful again. Don't get stuck in the news and get the FOMO of everyone thinking the market's going to crash. Just know your levels, know your stops. Don't put in all your eggs in one basket. Don't buy everything all at once. Initially coming down, starts breaking below 104, 105, maybe have a watch list on it and create an alert around that level and seeing how it reacts to that. Potentially a buying opportunity, maybe a selling opportunity, depending on how you view or focus the company or, of course, even the chart. Looking for this potentially to be more of a bull case. We want to really to show that support between 107 to 103 to kind of hold. Start building a base here. We've seen base building in Apple before. It does move quite a bit here, but I think it could just kind of start trading for maybe 2 to 3 weeks on a very tight consolidation pattern, and really any kind of good news, aka from the virus and other kind of stuff, finally getting that circus race out of the way, we could potentially see some the real narrative come through in some of these key companies and potentially start creating some strategies and getting back into some bigger, larger holdings in the short term and really just not focusing directly on the longer term side like I have recently. So that being said, please don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And if you haven't already, go ahead and flip over to our fantastic Discord. So that is, again, something that we have always showing up here. We have the memes, names, the trading ideas, trading news, options trading stuff. We have the book club, which not really much going on there, which we don't like to read books, and other various factors that we just kind of discuss and just kind of share throughout the day. Again, thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.